The film opens with an ultrasound image of twin fetuses. Everything seems perfectly normal at first. But suddenly one of the babies becomes more aggressive. The story shifts to the present, introducing a high school girl named Maria. She stands in front of a mirror, getting ready for school as usual. She wants to look more attractive, but then becomes shy and buttons her shirt. 17-year-old Maria has what seems like a perfect life with a very wealthy family. But in reality, it's far from complete. Her life is cold and isolated. At breakfast, the whole family sits at the table in silence, no one speaking a word. At school, Maria is almost an outsider. No one really cares about her. As soon as she gets on the bus, she immediately becomes a target of bullying. Other students avoid her and treat her cruelly for no reason. She actually has one friend, or rather, just an acquaintance. Maria and Lily have known each other since they were very young. However, Lily is always aloof and mainly uses Maria to make herself stand out. Maria spends most of her time at school alone, listening to music with her headphones on. She also harbors deep jealousy towards Lily. Lily is popular at school and has a boyfriend named Sean, whom Maria secretly likes. Witnessing Lily's closeness with Sean only intensifies Maria's discomfort and envy. Returning home, Maria has to endure another tense dinner with her parents. At home, she is usually quiet and withdrawn because she doesn't feel comfortable around them. Her father, Dan, is distant and spends most of his time on his work. He is a plastic surgeon, extremely meticulous and demanding, which puts immense pressure on Maria. Meanwhile, her mother, Amy, is mentally unstable. She frequently has nightmares and suffers from depression. Another crucial detail is that she is constantly having affairs. Although everyone knew it, Amy still pretended nothing was wrong. All of this created a fractured and unstable family. During dinner, Maria had to listen to her mother talk about her friends and plans. Amy wanted to help her daughter, intending to arrange a meeting with a boy because she thought Maria needed more friends. The winter prom was coming up, and she needed someone to attend. Maria vehemently opposed the idea and asked her mother to stop. Dan also interfered, making Maria feel even more pressured and isolated. Finally, she couldn't control her anger, lost her temper with her mother, and refused to wash the dishes. Dan seemed worried about his daughter, but not out of genuine concern. He saw her as a disgrace. She returned to her room and stood silently looking at herself in the mirror. Soon, she noticed something in the mirror frame. What she found surprised her: an old ultrasound image. The picture showed twins, just like at the beginning of the movie. Maria didn't know what to think about it, so she ignored it. She went into the bathroom, and then something terrifying happened. Her reflection in the mirror suddenly started moving. Maria panicked, falling to the floor and quickly hiding behind the sink before gathering her courage to approach. The reflection was really moving. She tried to convince herself it was all a hallucination, but as she wiped away the condensation on the mirror, she saw her own reflection smiling at her. Maria panicked and left the bathroom. The next morning, she was still shaken and wanted to seek help and advice from her parents. She went downstairs to try and talk to her father while her mother was preparing breakfast. But before Maria could say anything, Dan interrupted her. He didn't even listen to her, focusing only on his daughter's appearance, saying she looked terrible and couldn't go to school like that. He assumed she hadn't gotten enough sleep and should go back upstairs to touch up her makeup. Maria sadly realized her father was completely unconcerned about the problems she was facing. She went back to the bathroom, brushed her hair, and put on makeup. In the mirror, her reflection was slightly out of sync, as if moving on its own. But Maria didn't notice anything unusual and went to school as usual. Mark, the boy who bullied Maria, was waiting near the bus stop. A chilling smile played on his lips, filling Maria with dread. Suddenly, Lily appeared in a brand new car and offered Maria a ride. Lily loved showing off her possessions in front of Maria. They stopped to pick up Sean, and Maria was forced to sit in the back seat, silently witnessing their intimacy unfold before her eyes. At school, Maria went with Lily and Sean, but soon they encountered Mark. He pushed Maria to the ground and mocked her in front of everyone. Sean intervened, and a heated argument ensued between him and Mark. Maria realized Sean had stood up for her, and this deeply moved her. After school, Maria returned home in a heavy mood. Sadness overwhelmed her. Suddenly, she heard a voice and, though frightened, decided to investigate. Soon she found herself in the bathroom. Before her was a mirror and her own reflection. This time, the reflection spoke, and Maria was utterly terrified. The reflection, said to be an exact likeness of Maria in appearance, was named Elaine. When Maria conversed with her reflection, Elaine explained that she was always with Maria, existing in every mirror and every place Maria visited where her reflection was present. Maria had countless questions about her origins but received no answers. Instead, Araim only asked Maria what she desired, convinced she could help her find happiness. Araim exuded a captivating confidence and a cruel, pleasurable wickedness. She was everything Maria lacked. Araim promised to help Maria and was ready to take revenge if anyone harmed her. When Maria remarked that Araim was beautiful, Araim corrected her, saying they were both beautiful, and Maria seemed to enjoy the conversation. The next morning, Maria was completely different. At breakfast, her parents immediately noticed the change. She looked much fresher and more presentable. Dan noticed his daughter's appearance, remarking that she looked great and expressing his immense pride. Maria announced that she would be attending the winter prom. Both parents were delighted, and Maria decided to try harder to fit in. At school, she proactively struck up conversations with Lily and Sean, asking Lily to teach her how to ice skate. Both friends were surprised by Maria's noticeable change. However, deep down, she was still jealous of their relationship, and Araim noticed this. Mr. Dan had a request for his daughter, that they spend one day a week together to strengthen their bond. Maria went to his clinic and observed him working. She also noticed one of his mistresses was present in the office. Afterwards, Maria and Dan went to see a movie. Their relationship was already strained, but Maria wanted to try to improve it. After the movie, they coincidentally ran into Mark and his group of friends. Mark pretended that he and Maria were just friends. Dan's embarrassment over his daughter made the situation incredibly awkward. On the drive home, Dan mentioned he wanted to give Maria an early birthday present. That night, Maria once again sought out Araim for a conversation. She said her father seemed to be paying more attention to her. However, Araim remained suspicious. The next day, Maria went to his office and received devastating news. Her father's planned birthday gift was a cosmetic surgery procedure to make her more beautiful. Maria was completely devastated and ran away. After that, she sought out Araim more often. Araim was furious with everyone and wanted to protect Maria at all costs. Conversations with Araim made Maria feel more comfortable and secure, but at the same time, they made her more unstable than ever. Soon after, Amy realized something was wrong with her daughter. Maria was behaving much stranger than before. Dan didn't want to continue dealing with Maria's situation and simply told Amy not to worry about it. After school, Lily and Maria went ice skating. Maria wasn't good at it and quickly fell, unable to get up on her own. Lily revealed her true nature by mocking her friend and then leaving, abandoning Maria alone on the cold ice rink. Araim became even more enraged at everyone around her. She told Maria that she was special and deserved to be loved. But the worst happened on prom night. Initially, Sean invited her to dance, but when Lily appeared, she became flustered and tripped. Mark, seeing this, gently reached out to help. However, it was a trap, and he dragged Maria around the room. To everyone's amusement, she was completely devastated, terrified, and utterly alone. Once again, she went to the bathroom to talk to him. This time, Maria touched the mirror, kissed it, and switched places with Araim. Now Maria was trapped in the mirror, while Araim took control of her body. Meanwhile, Amy had a terrifying nightmare about childbirth. When Araim took control, things at school started to get strange. She became confident and seductive. When Mark tried to bully her, Araim immediately fought back, scaring him to death. This action greatly pleased Sean, and he seemed to develop some feelings for her. Lily witnessed this and became jealous. Later, Araim went to Dan's office and, without saying a word, gave him a light kiss. This made Dan extremely tense. Araim went out to meet the assistant, pretending to ask for water so she could use her phone, and arranged for her father's mistress to come to the office at 1 p.m. Then Araim told the assistant that Dan wanted to invite Amy to the office so they could have lunch together. She wanted her mother and her mistress to meet. It was all part of a plan to anger her mother. Maria disapproved of what Araim was doing to the family and wanted her to stop. But Araim insisted that they all had to pay for what they had done to Maria. Araim decided to get revenge on Mark. She lured him into the bathroom. When no one was around, Araim broke Mark's leg. Not long after, Araim taught herself to ice skate and went to practice with Lily. This time, she humiliated Lily with her abilities. Lily, unwilling to lose, tried to perform more difficult moves and slipped and fell, hitting her head so hard that she died. Araim called for emergency services, pretending it was an accident and begging them to come quickly. That night, Maria was consumed with anger and panic, while Araim insisted she hadn't touched Lily, that Lily had fallen and hit her head on her own. Maria longed to switch places with her because what Araim was doing had crossed all boundaries. but she refused and continued with her plan. A few days later, the police investigated Lily's case, and her funeral took place. Araim actively seduced Sean, claiming she wanted to comfort him and help him overcome his grief. And inevitably, the two became inseparable, losing track of time. One morning, instead of going to school, Araim told Sean to go to a motel, where he received a call from the police. They apparently discovered their relationship and suspected it was connected to Lily's death. The police asked them to come to the station. Araim refused and was pushed down by Sean due to her excessive behavior. In a moment of losing of control, she used a glass bottle to hit him hard on the head. The accident was unintentional, and Sean died. Araim had no intention of letting things go this far. Now, both she and Maria are devastated. Amy continues to have haunting dreams about childbirth. The truth gradually comes to light. Maria actually had a twin sister. When that baby was born, Dan killed her because he believed the baby was deformed. Amy is devastated and will never forget the tragedy. Araim goes to see Dan at his office in a drunken state, while he was looking for something for his daughter to drink to sober her up. Araim stripped off her clothes and demanded an answer from her father. She wanted to know if he would love her if she were deformed or ugly. Dan couldn't answer immediately, but after a while, he admitted that he couldn't accept having a deformed child. That answer sealed the deal. Araim took a scalpel and killed Dan. Her rage burned fiercely, and she finally completed her revenge. After the incident, Araim never saw Maria again. She returned home and was embraced by her mother. Now it seemed that Maria and Araim shared the same body. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.